There are more than 50 countries in Africa, making it the continent with the most countries on Earth. Some have said Africa should just be a country, arguing that it would unite Africa. What if instead there were just 5 countries based on the 5 regions? We're talking West Africa, North Africa, East Africa, Central Africa, and South Africa. Would this dissection unite Africa, or would it just create more infighting? That is what we'll discuss today on Africa Assembled. By the way, be a friend and subscribe, click the notification button to never miss our videos, and like this video to help us make more content you love about our amazing continent. Let's dive in. If we divided Africa into regions and turned them into countries, we would have 5 very big countries. North Africa will comprise of all the countries between Egypt to Western Sahara. West Africa would have all the countries from Mauritania in the west to the easternmost country of Nigeria. Central Africa would comprise of the least countries from Chad in the north to Angola in the south. East Africa would debatedly begin from Sudan all the way down to Malawi, while South Africa would comprise of all the countries from Zambia to South Africa. North Africa would be the largest country, covering almost 8 million square kilometers, while East Africa would be the smallest African country. West Africa would be the most populous country, with the Nigerian area being the most populated area, while Central Africa would be the least populated country. As far as languages, North Africa would have Arabic as a national language, as French would be the second language. West Africa would have French and English as the national languages, while Swahili would be the obvious national language of East Africa. Central Africans would speak mostly French, and South Africa on the other hand is difficult to determine as there are so many languages ranging from Zulu, Ndebele to Tsonga, and many more. What will the flags look like? Since many West African countries already incorporate the Pan-African colors into their flags, it's safe to assume that the flag would definitely have green, yellow, and red. Once again, it will be hard to determine the South African flag due to the many colors of the existing countries in the region. East Africa would probably have the other set of Pan-African colors on their flag, while Central Africa would have the red, green, and yellow iteration of the Pan-African colors. North Africa would have the moon and the star on their flag with the Pan-Arab colors. Cairo would be the capital city of North Africa, while Lagos would be the capital of the West. Johannesburg would be the capital of South Africa, while Nairobi or Addis Ababa and Brazzaville or Kinshasa would be the capital of East Africa and Central Africa respectively. This video is under the premise that the African countries would unite today as opposed to being countries for hundreds of years. As other new countries today, these 5 regions would go through the usual steps of being annexed into each other. They would rewrite their constitutions, change their national anthems, laws, and many more, which costs money. However, each country would have to deal with individual issues first. For example, North Africa would have to deal with the situation in Libya or the Morocco-Algeria relationship over Western Sahara. West Africa would have to deal with its different ethnicities and the quelling of terrorism from the north and its relationship with England and France. Central Africa would have to manage Central African Republic and the nation's location of being mainly landlocked. East Africa would have to examine the situation in Ethiopia and possibly its relationship with North Africa over the dam. South Africa, though the most developed, would have to deal with HIV and prejudice. Not surprisingly though, North Africa could be the quickest country to adjust with the new status quo as they share the Arab background and language. It will not be difficult to notice the distinct characteristics of each country too. Central Africa would have the largest rainforest in Africa and second largest in the world. North Africa will be the gateway to Africa from Europe and will continue to be a predominantly Muslim nation with oil as its major export. West Africa would be mineral rich as well and would be the music and entertainment center of Africa as Nollywood would only grow. East Africa would be the nature tourist destination as it would be flourishing with wildlife and Mount Kilimanjaro. The country would also export coffee, cut flowers, tea, tobacco, fish, and vegetables. Madagascar could even become an exotic East African getaway island. South Africa would be the most developed country, but North Africa would have the highest GDP, even though the previous country of Nigeria would have the highest GDP per region on the continent. There would be pros and cons to having these 5 mega-sized countries on the African continent. First, trade would be much easier and more intimate as there would be only 5 players in the room as opposed to 54. Countries would also be more minerally rich and if managed properly would make the countries wealthier. Communication and relationships between the countries would also be easier as the African Union would be much smaller. However, the cons that come with the 5 countries would be inter-ethnic problems. It would be easy for different tribes to argue with each other over almost everything in the country, from politics to national spending. This would also bring a loss of national identity, as Nigeria, for example, would not be able to call themselves Nigerians. Maasais would not be labeled as Kenyans or Tanzanians anymore. A common problem with African leaders is their mismanagement of wealth, and it could be worse as the countries they have to run are much bigger. Poor people will be inherited and borders will be closed, which could push violence from certain known violent cities to others. In conclusion, if these regions became countries, the struggle would be enormous as countries would have to realize their unification with others. But in the long term, this could improve the regions of Africa and eventually unite the whole continent into a country. This is a much broader video. We'll be diving deeper into individual regions in future videos. Now we turn the question to you. Based on where you are from in Africa, what is your hypothetical country? Share this with a friend and drop a comment if you disagree or would like to request a video. Till then, brothers and sisters, have a nice day.